I think that his rhetoric was, even for Putin, remarkably aggressive. This is, of course, the end phase of the presidential campaign season, so it's to be understood as a campaign speech, and I think his Russian audience was perhaps the primary audience for this. I think to the extent that he intended this for a foreign audience, it was a shot across the bow, and it was remarkably bellicose.
Не слушал. Послушайте сейчас.
It's as if Russia is saying to Europe, to the United States, and in a way to the Russian population, the only language the West understands is the language of force. And so therefore I'm going to speak the language of force.
You had these graphics and videos that were very like video gamey, not actual images of the systems as they are. A lot of them are still on the drawing board. At the end of one of the videos, it showed it kind of going towards Hawaii. So building up this Russia versus United States narrative, this new nuclear arms race narrative in very kind of graphic images and videos. And creating this buzz about nuclear weapons and a new arms race takes away from the fact that Putin and the economy that he's been leading for the past 18 years is at one of the weakest points it's ever been. The gravity of the U.S.-Russia proliferation issue still, mutually assured destruction is still a very real policy. Nobody wins. There's no real good defense for the Russians or for the United States in any sort of nuclear exchange between our two countries. So again, I think it's more for domestic consumption to project strength when you're actually fairly weak at home. You have to go to what is your strength? And for Russia, the strength is still the fact that they are one of the biggest nuclear powers in the world.
Bragging about his invincible weapons?
Again, we weren't surprised by his statements.
I think there's a natural Pentagon desire, Trump administration desire, not to give Putin too much credit for this, and in effect not to give him the response that he might enjoy having of shock and horror and dismay. So I think that there's a natural American desire to project self-confidence. But the message is very clear that he's got a huge nuclear arsenal, he's going to develop it further, and if need be, he's going to use it.